Hey, Joe Zarzaur here with Dr. Malone for another episode on Zarzaur Law TV. Today, we're going to let Dr. Malone talk to us a little bit about his observations on how the move to electronic medical records, or EMR, has illuminated a couple of big factors or big issues that may come into play with people as they come in and out of a hospital. Dr. Malone, you said one of those things was the medical scribe, and the other thing you said was that you notice in a lot of your reviews that sometimes patients get impatient at the most critical part of the hospitalization. So if you could talk about those two things.
Got it. And so it's basically at the start and at the end of your hospitalization. So at the beginning, there's a new trend where there's medical scribes being used.
Medical what?
Scribes.
Okay.
SCRIBE, where that's exactly what that person does. It's many times it's not a nurse, it's not a physician, it's not a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant. It's someone who is trained enough to fill out documentation, whether it be on a tablet or on some sort of a pre-printed form, for a physician, documenting physical findings, documenting observations, checking boxes, whatever it is, on a tablet. And this is designed because the electronic medical records, as efficient as they're supposed to be, are actually very cumbersome for physicians to fill out, meaning there's all these little drop-down boxes, and when you're in an emergency department setting and you're trying to see as many patients as possible, someone's acutely ill, and you've got to move on to the next step, you don't sit there and say, does the patient wear a seatbelt or not, or does the patient smoke, all these little drop-down menus. So these scribes do those tests for the physician, and then the physician signs off on it ultimately, which is great. Okay, I like to know that my doctor's spending more time worrying about what medication I should be getting in an acute setting. However, later on, is that going to come back to be possibly something that labels me as, oh, they checked off that I smoke, I don't smoke. Or they checked off that, whatever family history I have, and I don't have that. So there is some possibility for error there. But one thing as a patient you should understand is that there's other people involved in your care in an emergency department setting besides the physician and the nurse, and it may be in the form of a scribe. So you just need to know that they exist. They shouldn't impact you in an acute setting. But later on, possibly.
And it used to be that people that were career nurses or career PAs were taking this information down, that had more of an interest in the patient than just $10 an hour data entry person.
Yeah.
And so what you're saying is the data entry person's got less invested basically in the whole process, so they may not be paying as close of attention to the medical entry stuff they're doing versus like Facebook on their phone.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't contend that scribe is putting in the wrong orders for you necessarily. They're just documenting, again, the observations of the physician, which may or may not be accurate once the physician decides to sign off on them, whether it's at the end of the shift or the end of the week or later on in the month. Okay.
And then what's this thing about the critical phase of a hospitalization?
Well, I think that the last 2 hours or so of your hospitalization are the most important. You need to learn how to be a patient. You get anxious, you're feeling better, you want to get out of there, you've been sitting in bed for a day, a week, however long it is, you're starting to feel a little cabin fever, if you will, and you want to get out of there. Well, cutting that area short, where you're not listening to the discharge instructions, where you're not worried about when your next follow-up is, which medications you need filled, that's important information, okay? So take advantage of that, because each one of those little tidbits of information equates to like multiple hours spent trying to track that down outside the hospital. So get your answers while you're there and take advantage of it. Don't just say, "I'll see you later, I'm going to complain because it took me 20 minutes to get signed out of here." So take advantage of that.
Plus, you're paying for that visit.
You've already paid for it.
Yeah, you're paid for it, and it's like checking out of a nice hotel. If you got a question about your bill, or
do it then.
Do it now. Don't wait till you leave and then call back.
So coordinating the last couple hours of your discharge can be it can have a pretty big impact on you, good or bad, depending on how you play it.
All right.
And it goes along with just being a responsible patient and being empowered. And again, you wouldn't let someone come and do work in your home and let them leave without telling you what they did and why and what do I do next time this problem comes up. So just treat it the same way.
And if there are legal issues surrounding obviously medical records or doctor's orders that you may get on a discharge from a hospital that maybe weren't clear, and you have questions from a legal standpoint, you can always call us at 855-HIRE-JOE or on the web at zarzaurlaw.com. Thank you.